he's on podcasts, and he's on radio. And without further ado, we show him how loud we can get in Omaha, and welcome Jeff Beals.
All right. Well, thank you, Ted. I appreciate that introduction. And for those of you who weren't here last year, Ted and I go a long ways back. I knew him when he was about knee-high. We grew up on the same street. I'm quite a bit older, though, than Ted, and so he was friends with my very much younger siblings. I have a brother who's 7 years younger and a sister who's 12 years younger. So Ted was that little kid from across the street that would always be in the house when I would come home from college. And I was like the cranky old college kid to be like, Ted, don't you have a home? But now that we've grown up, he's a great friend, and it's an honor to be here. And Ted, what you've done with this RIA organization and with your career makes all of us 117th Street alumni very proud of you. Jim, thank you for being our drink sponsor tonight. I hope you know what you're getting yourself into. I alone am going to make a pretty big dent in your budget, but I've got a good feeling a lot of dry Januaryers are going to go to hell in a handbasket tonight because of your free drinks. I know I've got a problem with alcohol, and it was proven when I walked in the door, and the very first thing I saw was that whiskey bottle. I mean, it was like my eye just went, whiskey bottle. And I almost went there instead of checking in with the AV guys in the back. At any rate, I never do dry January. Hey, I noticed there's this little pamphlet for the next speaker coming up in February, and apparently there was one of these that came out for me a while back. And the reason I know this is my brother-in-law was at the gym and found it in the men's room, bathroom. And so he took a picture of it and he sent it to our extended family group. And I said, "Oh my God, where was that?" And he goes, in the men's room at Genesis Fitness Club. And I said, "In the men's room?" He goes, "Yeah, it's even worse than that. It was sitting on the back of the shitter." So apparently, someone was reading this while doing the business. You would think they would do something that had maybe a little more substance to it than just a little postcard. All right, let's get on to business. Guys in the back, would you please load up my, thank you very much. So we're going to talk about Grow Omaha tonight. That is a business I co-founded with my very good friend and business partner, Trenton Magid, on January 10th of 2004. And in the early days of Grow Omaha, it wasn't a business at all. We just bought a radio show time on AM radio so that we could kind of draw attention to the commercial real estate company that we had. But it really took off, and at one point we found out it was the most listened to weekend talk show in Nebraska. After you go through that's not Husker sports. So after you go through all of those little disclaimer what ifs, we were kind of a big deal. And so we decided, what can we do to really do something with that? And so we decided, okay, let's turn it into a full-blown media company. So our heritage topics have always been growth and development, real estate and construction, economic development, things like that. And then because we were in commercial real estate, we always knew what retailers were opening and what restaurants were coming to town. So we started to throw that in there. And those remain our heritage topics. But we've grown over the years, and we cover so many other local things, and I'll give you a little idea about that in just a moment. But before I go any further, I want to remind you to be thinking of questions in your mind that you would like to ask me. The way we always do these Grow Omaha overview presentations is like this. I give you about 15 minutes, 20 minutes of overview or content about some of the big projects that are happening in town, and then we open it up. And it looks like my, there we go. Then we open it up for conversation and questions. So if something that I go through here in a little bit brings up a question in your mind, make sure you let me know about that. Okay, are we working? It's buzzing. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, so first of all, we have 3 platforms at Grow Omaha. The first one is our radio show. That's our oldest platform. It airs every Saturday morning from 9:06 to be exact to 10 o'clock p.m. on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And that show is always available on podcast formats all over the place. and then you can also see videos of it. We bring a video camera against my better judgment into the studio each week, and that's available on growomaha.com. It doesn't appear that this is work. Oh, there we go. We also have a newsletter that comes out every Thursday afternoon. At the end of 2025, we had 24,798 subscribers to that newsletter. About 68.5% of them on average open it, so it has a really nice audience, and we go through way more detail there than we could possibly fit in a 1-hour radio show. If you don't get it and you would like to, all you have to do is send an email to news@growomaha.com, and we'll make sure we get you on the list. And then our third platform, which is by far our biggest and most popular platform, is growomaha.com. That's our website. We put news on there every single day, and we have all sorts of features that are available. But before we go any further, you got to allow me just a moment to brag it up a little bit. If you take all of our platforms last year, the Grow Omaha audience increased in 2025 by 138%. We had 991,000 people come to growomaha.com, and they made 2.94 million views. So you know what's coming next. You should advertise with us because we have the best B2B advertising audience in Omaha, period. I would challenge you to go find anyone that can put you in front of the business decision makers, the buyers, the influencers that we have. You wouldn't believe the quality of our audience. And if you're not part of it, we want you to join it. Okay, so let's get into the meat and, oh no, actually I have one other thing I wanted to tell you. For those of you who were here last year, we added some content areas just since last January. So we now have nonprofit news by Mark Champion. We got Cole Young, who's doing sports for us. We only do local stuff. We don't even cover the Huskers because they're not in the 9-county Omaha metropolitan area. We have an arts and culture writer, Grace. We got Patrick Wyman, who is the founder of Omaha Exploration, an amazing history organization. He's writing for us every week. And we also have content provided by the Omaha Community Foundation. All of that is new since I was here with you last year. So now we're going to get into the prepared remarks I have about projects going on. And I'm going to start off with the most controversial of projects, and that is the streetcar. And it's really a shame that it's become as controversial as it is, because it's going to fundamentally transform urban Omaha. It will create, over the next 10 to 20 years, literally billions of dollars of collateral real estate development. And that billions of dollars worth of new commercial and residential real estate development will put a lot more people in the urban core. And those people will create activity. They'll create jobs, they will go to jobs, they will buy products, and there will be a lot more income tax and sales tax revenue. There will be more people using the mature and already established infrastructure resources we have in the urban core. I promise you, the streetcar, when it opens in early 2028, will be one of the greatest things that ever happened to Omaha when it comes to growth and development and real estate investment. Just watch. But couple things to bring you up to speed on that project. First of all, the Farnham Street Bridge is coming down Saturday, weather cooperating. The plan is to take it, they're going to close it. It's already closed right now. They closed it a couple days ago. This picture was taken, I think, yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was just yesterday. And so it's going to come down. It'll be just like the Harney Street Bridge. They brought that thing down in a day. And then they will rapidly clean it up, and the freeway will be open for traffic no later than 6 a.m. on Monday. It'll probably be open earlier than that. I know the Harney Street one was at the same time. This is a photograph from back in October of a little stretch of Farnham Street in the Blackstone District. And I share this with you because I want to acknowledge one thing that is of concern to a lot of people when it comes to the streetcar project. It is wreaking havoc on the local businesses. It will continue to wreak havoc for another year and a half. And one of the big negatives of it is that there will be some companies that you and I like that won't exist anymore because of this project. Now, I would say for the greater good, we got to do what we got to do, because the number of retailers and restaurants and bars and other businesses that will be there in a few years because of the streetcar will swamp what's there already right now. But that's still no consolation to the people that are struggling. If you have a business in that Blackstone and downtown area that you care about, I would urge you to go out of your way to give them business. I know I have been doing that. When someone says, hey, can we meet for coffee? It's almost always downtown or midtown now in Blackstone or downtown, because I want to do everything I can. But some people will say, but Jeff, I don't want to do that because it's so crazy trying to get through all that construction. It's not as bad as it looks. When you first look at it, you think to yourself, oh my God, how do I navigate through this? Just kind of take a deep breath and you can just work your way through it. And I've had no trouble finding parking. I've had no trouble. Like right now, if you go down Farnham Street from 10th Street all the way to Blackstone, it looks like a war zone or an obstacle course. But if you just go really slowly, you literally can drive through it. There are paths through it, and those businesses would totally appreciate any patronage you can possibly give them. All right, next project we're going to highlight is the brand new behavioral health clinic that just opened today or yesterday at Children's Nebraska, 85th and Dodge. This was a desperately needed project, and we are so lucky here in Omaha that our philanthropic community is big, it is generous, and rich. And the philanthropic leaders in our community have done so much to great projects. This is certainly one of the greatest projects that they have funded, and will make a huge difference in the lives of kids. Also, a pretty nice looking building architecturally, and that children's campus is growing like crazy. I was just looking at a map of it the other day, and it's just crazy to see how it stretches from east to west, and all indications are it'll keep going. Now here you're looking at a picture of Gamescape by Cinemark. That will be the first occupant of the new Crossroads development. It is under construction now. It'll only be the second Gamescape in the world. The first one is already open in El Paso, Texas. It's a concept from Cinemark. They're a big Dallas-based movie theater chain, very international, all over the United States, many other countries. But I don't believe we've ever had them in Omaha. So it'll have the full-blown movie theater. Kind of think like a movie theater meets Dave & Buster's or something like that. And that'll be the first one. They're also going to be working on a park, some underground parking garages, and the first residential or mixed-use buildings. You should start to see construction progress on those this year as well. This is projected to be a multi-phase project. It was kind of interesting, though. The developers had an open house a couple months ago here in Omaha, and one of the things they said is that they might end up altering the order of the phases because they've been surprised by a few desirable businesses or tenants that they did not expect. What that means remains to be seen, but it's kind of intriguing. Got to talk about the tallest building in the region. In 2025, the future headquarters of Mutual of Omaha passed up the FNBO Tower just a block or two away to become the tallest building in Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, the Dakotas, a lot of states around here. This is what it looked like on New Year's Eve. Brad Williams, who does amazing photography and is a key part of our Grow Omaha team, took some of these shots right here. Here's what it looks like from the Council Bluffs side of the river, and it is getting close to being topped out. There will actually be a bit of a, let's call it a parapet wall that will extend above the roof line by a fair amount, but to the best of my knowledge, let's say if that parapet wall is 10 to 20 feet, that's how much more it has before it will reach its maximum height. Here's a picture looking, I think this is more closer to maybe Harrah's Casino. You can see the Breakers, a new style development apartment property right there in the foreground, looking pretty cool right there. This is what it looked like a year ago. This is from January of last year. So if you compare that back to this, it's amazing what can get done in a year. And then I've got a couple other shots that Brad Williams took from the helicopter I think these go back to October, so they're a little bit old, but I just put it up here because I thought it looked kind of cool seeing it from this angle. Same thing with this shot right here. I'm putting this next shot on here, maybe. There you go. I'm putting this one on here because I just think it looks cool the way he flew right over it and was shooting down. So anyway, that building makes progress. It is on target to be 100% complete before this time next year. I believe it'll be December of this new year. Okay, then moving right along. Next thing I want to tell you about is Avenue 1. This is one of the 5 Good Life districts in Nebraska. The others are in Bellevue, where the Bellevue Bay Water Park is going, Gretna, just north of Highway 31 and Interstate 80, and then there's 2 others, one in Grand Island and one in Kearney. But Good Life districts have some special tax incentive structures in order to encourage development, and they're designed to draw in development that would be highly likely to bring in people from other states. And so Avenue 1 is one of those. It is located south of 192nd and West Dodge Road. And we just announced a story in one of our stories on GrowOmaha.com a few weeks ago. The first official retailers that have been announced are West Elm, which is a popular home furnishings chain, Our House, which is another home interior kind of housewares chain that's really popular. You're also going to have Williams Sonoma and Pottery Barn go there, and those are the 4 that have been announced. Rumor has it that they also have possibly Trader Joe's, Total Wine, and a Prime Steakhouse from Texas, but those have not been officially announced, and so we can't say for sure if those are there. But that's Avenue 1. Those 4 retailers that I just mentioned, if they're on target, and with these developments sometimes it's a big if, slated for 2027. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern plan to merge to create the first truly transcontinental railroad. It will be headquartered in Omaha. If the feds approve the merger, indications are it stands a pretty good chance. The nice thing about this is that it looks like there will be about 560 jobs, headquarters type jobs that will move from Atlanta to downtown Omaha. Doesn't that sound nice? Usually it's headquarters jobs moving from somewhere to Atlanta. So it's kind of like revenge of mid-sized markets, I guess. And there is plenty of room inside the existing Union Pacific building. There's quite a bit of vacancy in there as their staff has been pared down over the years like everyone else's. But there is talk that they might do something, they might build something on the empty square block immediately to the north, which ironically for many decades was the Union Pacific headquarters until this was built in 2004. But don't expect anything too grand or dramatic there. What I'm hearing is maybe a few stories tall and then some park space, so nothing too shocking. But the most important thing is that there will be a lot of very high-paying professional jobs moving from Atlanta to downtown Omaha if the merger successfully goes through. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about Eppley Airport Terminal expansion. We hit on this if you were here last year, but there's been quite a bit of progress. That's a rendering of what it's supposed to look when it's all said and done. This was an aerial taken in November, so it's fairly recent. And you can see this front part here is the glass canopy, which is now completely done. You can't drive under it yet to drop off or pick up because they're still building that middle section. If you look, sorry I don't have a laser pointer, but if you look right there, that thing coming up just above the glass canopy will be the new central pavilion where everyone will go through one unified TSA, and then beyond that will be kind of like the miniature shopping mall where like restaurants and shops and bookstores and all that sort of thing. They'll have 19 restaurants and retailers past security, so it will be a lot better than whatever that godforsaken temporary food service they have there right now is called, which I never thought anything would make me miss Cracky McGee's until I tried the temporary food service that's in the airport right now. So since we met last year, there has been yet another rendering released of what Project Health will look like. That's the $2.2 billion hospital at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. So we are essentially standing to the northwest, looking to the southeast. Right here is the new core building. This is still under construction, but it's coming along pretty nicely. That's on the southwest corner of Farnham and Saddle Creek. The huge hospital would be on the southeast corner of Farnham and Saddle Creek. And this parking garage over here is where Don and Millie's currently is located. But that restaurant has already closed. It will be demolished soon to make way for that parking garage. Now, you would think the average Grow Omaha social media commentator, comment maker, I should say, would be pretty excited about the prospect of a $2.2 billion investment, the most expensive building ever well, I think okay, here, you want this? Okay, thanks. Back up. Okay. Oh, I even got the laser pointer, don't I? Yeah. Oh, look at that. There's the parking garage. See. Oh, only for the pointer. Okay, I got you. Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. So you would think the average social media comment maker on the various Grow Omaha social media would be so excited about a $2.2 billion building being constructed. In fact, that this building would be the most expensive building ever constructed in Nebraska history. And at over 2 million square feet, it would be the biggest multi-story building in Nebraska history. No, they're upset about the damned Don and Millie's being displaced for a parking garage that will serve this place that might save their life someday when they have to go to the hospital. But for those people, the good news is in 2027, Don and Millie's is going to open up a shop in the ground floor of that parking garage. So please, if you're like them, don't be upset that we're building this multi-billion-dollar project in the way of your favorite fast food restaurant. Okay, moving right along. We now have the Duo, which is in downtown Omaha, formerly known as the Central Park Twin Towers. These were purchased not too terribly long ago by New Style Development. Todd Heastand and his team at New Style Development are real estate magicians. I don't know of another group of human beings that can build something faster than they can. It is downright shocking. Like, it seems like 5 minutes ago they took over that building, and I went for a tour recently, and the South Tower is 100% done. There are 282 apartments in the South Tower. Who wants to guess what the occupancy rate is right now? 100%. They have a wait list already. They are currently doing construction on the North Tower, and they're already putting a wait list together for leasing on the North Tower. Behind that, they're building a 13-story building. The top 5 floors will be more apartments, 150 of them. Those will go really fast. And below it will be a city-owned parking garage, and then there is going to be retail and restaurant space on the ground floor. Absolutely astonishing project. They took me up to the top floor, and I was about ready to sell my West Omaha house and move in. I need to get my wife down there for her to see it, because right now she doesn't think it's a good idea. Okay, next thing we have. Just a couple projects before we wrap this thing up. This is one of the things we just announced within the last couple of weeks. Drury Plaza Hotel will be going into the grassy area between Embassy Suites and the relatively new Brickline apartment building. Brickline is where Memoir is located. As soon as you say that, people are like, oh, now I know what you're talking about. We all love Memoir. It'll be a nice little addition, nothing huge, nothing major, but it's just a sign of good things that are going to be coming along the streetcar route in downtown Omaha. And then the last project I want to share with you is this, and there's a reason for it. I'll tell you, it's an affordable housing project that is going to be shoehorned into a pretty small lot at 1031 South 21st Street. In English, that's about 21st and Mason. And what I like about this is that you're going to see more and more of these little infill, actually it's not very little, it's 6 levels, but you're going to see more and more of these infill things as we strive to build 1,900 affordable housing units inside the urban core. That's one of the things that's been a challenge for our continued urban growth in the east side of Omaha, in the middle of Omaha. And that is a lot of the people we need to work the basic service jobs downtown have a hard time affording living downtown because we built so many things like that Duo project that I just showed you, which is awesome. And so part of the streetcar plan was that after we got to the point where we got the amount of real estate development to pay off the construction, the plan always was in place and everything was put there for us to get another $40 to $50 million, maybe more, to pay for affordable housing in the urban core. Well, the Lozier Foundation, in their generosity, stepped to the plate and did some things so that we could move that up and do that part of the project now instead of waiting several years until the real estate development catches up and makes it possible. You're going to start to see a lot of this in the urban core, nice new stuff that will be considered affordable. And there are lots of different definitions of that, and there's different thresholds. But it's encouraging, and overall, I will tell you, this is my last slide. Overall, I will tell you, I'm generally optimistic right now. We've got some concerns, particularly in Lincoln. We have some business and tax incentives that have fallen woefully behind the states that compete with us. Kansas is kicking our ass when it comes to that, and it's not even close. Iowa, this is hard to say. This is hard to say. Iowa's beating us with business and tax incentives. Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is a place that has generally been considered kind of like not as happening as Omaha is beating us right now. And a lot of this has been because we have allowed our tax incentives to lapse. And I will say, and I hate to say this because at Grow Omaha we take a lot of pride in being generally apolitical. We try not to be partisan or anything like that. You know, Trenton and I both have our definite political beliefs, but we just try to keep our political beliefs in Grow Omaha to just pro-Omaha, pro-business, and pro-growth. The governor right now is not helping Omaha growth and development. There's been a lot of hostility towards economic development, and so if you know anyone or you have any influence with any of the 49 in the unicameral or Governor Pillen, it is time for you to talk to those 50 people about how important it is for government to play a key and activist role in recruiting and retaining companies. Great governors go out and meet with the CEOs of companies that have major operations in your state. And great departments of economic development work hand in glove with organizations like the Greater Omaha Chamber and the Sarpy County Economic Development Corporation and other organizations like that to make sure we recruit people. I'm not so sure that's happening right now the way it should happen and the way we need it to happen. So that's my political exception for the night. Now we're going to open it up, and we look at this. We already have one contestant already. Jill, you are the first person.
It is true, I am. Hey, you didn't talk about the new soccer stadium, the housing in that, and if there will be any retail.
Yeah, great point. I appreciate you bringing that up, Jill. Yeah, so Union Omaha wants to build a $114 million soccer stadium on about 25 acres of mostly abandoned Union Pacific Railroad land northeast of Charles Schwab Field. Cool project. It would also involve substantial collateral real estate development nearby. You know, that area is already thriving. There's a little pocket just north of Charles Schwab that's called Millwork Commons. And right now there are 2 apartment buildings under construction, a city-owned parking garage, and they're about ready to start renovations on a boutique hotel. So the area is really, really doing well. This will really make it go even further. Now the plan is to do some infrastructure things as part of that. In fact, you know how 10th Street, when it comes up to Cumming turned Abbott Street, right there on the north east corner of Charles Schwab Field, kind of dead ends? That's going to actually go through that intersection and connect with 11th Street, and so it'll be one fluid street through there to go up into that Millwork Commons area and by the soccer stadium. And then that Union Pacific track where they always display the specialty trains, that's going to be slid a little bit back to the east to make way for the street, but they'll still have that there. So when you go down to the CWS or whatever, you'll still be able to see that. Now, the problem is they are planning to use turnback financing to pay for part of that. And the way the statute exists, the governor of Nebraska has absolute veto power for any turnback financing project, and so far he's shown a lot of hostility toward that. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure there are a lot of business people in Omaha that will be bending his ear. Chad, how are you?
Never better. Thanks for being here, Jeff. I always enjoyed hearing you speak. Some of the people in the room probably know this, but not everybody. In addition to Grow Omaha, you're an award-winning author, public speaker, motivational speaker. Are you working on any new projects as far as books are concerned? And then my second question, not to get political, but why would somebody want to oppose some of the economic development things that you were talking about, either on, a local, county, or state level?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And first of all, thank you for those nice comments. For those of you that don't know, I have a scorching case of attention deficit disorder, and I cannot just do one job, so I have 3 of them. And it drives my wife nuts, but keeps me happy. And so I do 3 jobs, and one of them is I do sales training, and part of that I've written some books. No, not working on one. And please do not go buy my books, because one of them was published in 2008, and the other one in 2013, and they're so old that every month when I get that little royalty check from Amazon, which it's only like 30 or 40 bucks or something like that, I'm very embarrassed that someone is right. The first book is called Self-Marketing Power, and it was designed to have you use your name and reputation as a way to prospect and get more business and all that. It's so old that there's one part in there where it says there's this new thing called Facebook that is starting to make an impression that you might want to check it out. So please do not buy my books, but thanks. But if you bought them 10 years ago, thank you. So your question about why would anyone oppose that is a very good question that befuddles me, because it doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. The vast majority of people I know are very comfortable with the incentives we have in the state, particularly as it relates to, say, the turnback financing. The turnback financing, in a very elementary definition, allows you to use some increase in value in an area around a venue created because of or after that venue exists. It's kind of like tax increment financing. A lot of people complain about TIF. They're like, that's taking money away from us. No, it's not. The baseline property value that existed before tax increment financing will always be there, and those property taxes will always be collected. But 15 years after the TIF expires, then we start to collect taxes on the increased value. So if you take $1 million piece of property and turn it into a $100 million piece of property, so what if you have to wait for 15 years to get the 99 million? You're still getting taxes on the 1 million, and you're getting a project that probably wouldn't have happened or would have gone to a different city if you didn't have that sort of incentive. It's the same thing with that turnback financing. You look at the youth sports world. Who here either has a kid or had a kid who grew up who caused you to spend thousands of dollars in hotel nights and gas tank money going to soccer and baseball and volleyball, right? A lot of dads and moms raise their hand. I'm one of them. Enjoyed every minute of it, but we spent tens of thousands of dollars on my son's baseball. Omaha's not getting as big a share of that as Kansas City is, as even Des Moines, Iowa is, which is 2/3 our market size. And so it's foolish for us not to do these types of things that will pull that money into our city and our state. And so, like I said, it doesn't matter what party you're in. People that think this through tend to be universally in favor of these types of incentives, because they, as my business partner Trenton always says, don't cost nothing. But it doesn't cost you anything. Thanks for asking that, Chad. Okay, who would like to go next? And it looks like a familiar face is approaching the microphone.
I got plenty of screenshots of things I want to talk about. UNMC back in 2021 announced that they were going to be part of the federal partner site for the Hazard Medical Response Program. There was going to be like a multi-billion-dollar program, right?
Yeah.
We know that there's that very large building that's being built, but that's not part of that program, correct?
No, it's not.
Is this still happening, this $1 billion development?
So that was like through the Department of Defense,
yeah.
and that was kind of all going down right around COVID. And someone here in the room might know better than I do, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that that has not been eliminated as a possibility, but I don't think it's anywhere near the front burner right now. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. But the focus, as I understand it, is all just on building the part that they always were for sure going to do, and that was the massive new hospital. So if that Homeland Defense and Department of Defense stuff actually comes to fruition, that would even be more gravy and more frosting for us at the Med Center.
I mean, they bought land just for that development, didn't they? Or did they not go that far into it?
They have been acquiring land whenever it is expeditious around the Med Center. But as I understand it, the plan was to tear down some existing buildings. You know, some of those old Clarkson doctors buildings, maybe remove those and then put that stuff right there to the east of where the huge hospital is going. There also maybe there was some talk about possibly putting some on that edge district where the new Catalyst, I'll say it in terms that you all understand. The brewery that we all love so much that just opened. That place is awesome, by the way. And then over between the Med Center and Leavenworth, there's also been a lot of squatty buildings and surface parking lots that can be ripped out to build that stuff. So there is room.
It's just amazing because everybody's like, oh no, they're moving forward with that. I'm like, I don't think that there's anything happening down there, and it's been really quiet about it.
Yeah, nothing yet, but we were one of 5 sites approved for those types of facilities, and allegedly we were going to be number 1, and that was because we had so much success. Remember when those Ebola patients were evacuated from Africa, they were taken straight to the Med Center, and then some of the very early COVID patients from that cruise ship came to the Med Center. So because of that capability, we were in line to be first, but God only knows where that's at right now.
In that same area, they've been talking about finally redoing the bridge over Saddle Creek on Dodge, which is a feat in its own. I'm very interested to see how that's going to happen. But they're talking about another, a redevelopment of Saddle Creek, which is a $5 million approval. Actually, you found that on your website.
Thanks for reading.
Yeah. So, is there any additional information you can give? What can we expect to see? And is $5 million enough to even make a dent in what it really needs down there?
Oh, it'll be
the flooding.
That project will be a lot more than $5 million, I suspect, when it's all said and done. But so local developer. If you can picture North Saddle Creek, there's a Family Fare grocery store. It's looking pretty tired. The plan is to Family Fare is going to leave, and the plan is to turn that into 3 tenant spaces. But more importantly, behind the Family Fare, and this is how you know we're really growing up as a market, when we're starting to shoehorn big projects into tiny little pieces of land. There's literally kind of land, a big steep bank, hill, and some of the loading docks for the Family Fare market. Going to squeeze in like a 5 or 6 story, pretty large apartment building there. And then part of the strip center that kind of comes out on the northwest corner of the Family Fare will be replaced by a long apartment building with some retail on the ground floor. You're going to see more and more of that around the Med Center. I mean, because it already is the biggest concentrations of jobs anywhere in Nebraska on such a small piece of land, and it's only going to grow and grow and grow. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. In fact, there's already, within a mile of the Med Center radius, I can think of several apartment projects that are under construction right now.
Do you think it's a good area to invest in now, or do you think you'd recommend waiting? Because I can guarantee you there's probably half a dozen people in the room that have rental properties within a mile there.
Ted, when I took my real estate class, they told me never to promise anyone would get a return on an investment. But gosh, for those of you who own land around the Med Center, I'd say I'm a little jealous of you. Good on you for getting your hands on it when you did. Looks like we have another question.
Hey, I'm Samantha Neiman.
You should have seen that last guy that was at the microphone.
Tall?
Yeah.
It's okay, we're balancing it out. I'm Sam Neiman. I work at Hillside Solutions. I have 2 questions for you. As Omaha continues to grow, how important do you see sustainable waste management becoming in new development and redevelopment projects? And then the second is, looking 5 to
good questions. The problem is I know virtually nothing about sustainable waste.
We should have coffee then.
Yeah, maybe we should talk.
Yeah.
I can tell you that sustainability in construction continues to be a bigger and bigger focus for a lot of developers because a lot of the tenants, whether they be commercial or residential, like to live and operate in those types of buildings. But I'm sorry, I'm not a good guy to answer those questions because I just don't know.
I'll school you then.
Okay,
I'll have my guys email your guys.
I'm looking forward to the coffee invitation.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much. For someone that's a transplant that's moved here the last 4 years, I've seen your email blasts, I don't know, for the last 4 years, so it's so cool to actually put the face to the name.
Good.
So nice to meet you. Besides all the amazing, groundbreaking developments that we've talked about, what do you believe is the biggest untapped opportunity in Omaha in the next 5 to 10 years?
Gosh, that's a really good question. Where did you move from, though?
Des Moines and Colorado. So
Okay.
I'm kind of all over. I never thought Omaha would be my home, but I think it's the people here. You guys are pretty cool.
Well, good. Well, we hope you stay. No more going back to Des Moines or Colorado, okay? You can always go skiing on vacation, but
Of course.
we want you to stay here. Okay. So opportunities. That's a tough question, but it's kind of a cool question. Let me think. One comes to mind. So Lanahaw Development, they're the group that's doing the Mutual Tower right now. And as part of that deal, they're going to take the existing Mutual of Omaha campus, and they have the opportunity of redeveloping that. And we had Jason Lanahaw on the show a few months ago, and he said some interesting things. By the way, one of the things he said, the old Mutual Tower will stay. It's not coming down. A lot of people were worried, myself included, that it might come down because it's such a landmark, so it's going to stay there. He said one of the things they really want to work on is to create a major office hub that would be part downtown type companies and part for-profit companies that would serve or benefit from the nearby med center. And with it being between the med center and downtown and on the streetcar line and close to I-480, not that far from Epley Airfield, they're pretty bullish on that becoming this huge hub of impressive type companies. So, maybe something like that excites me about where Omaha could go. I also, believe it or not, because sometimes people who, are from here and, go on vacations and all that sort of thing, especially in the winter, they think, why would any sane person ever take a vacation to Omaha? But believe it or not, I think there's a tremendous opportunity for more tourism growth here. We already talked about the youth sports tourism, which isn't going anywhere. As long as we parents choose to live vicariously through our kids, there will always be a multi-billion-dollar youth sports industry. But other things as well, like you think about these good life districts and what they could do for us. The potential at the Gretna Good Life District right off of there, and I'm hearing some really cool things that might happen. Like might be a place, I can't say it. So, Ted, if you weren't recording the damn meeting, I would be able to say more. So I think there's some cool stuff up there. And then you think like this Bellevue Bay Water Park. That's supposed to be like a 300-mile draw. It'll be the 4th biggest water park in America, indoor water park in America. I think to ourselves, what can we do there? Like, you think like, okay, we've already done amazing things downtown, but because we're doing this and because we're creating all this stuff, we have capacity for a lot more. What could we put on Lot B or Lot D? Replace those parking stalls with big garages, but what could we do there that could maybe be more of a tourism draw? We already know the city is going all out to get a 3rd convention hotel built on the southeast corner of Lot B right north of the Hilton, and that's going to happen. We'll get a real nice upscale 3rd convention hotel there. Our airport is shockingly close to our downtown compared to other cities. And I keep hearing rumblings of some other big possible attractions that could be going down there. I think a lot of us native Omahans need to say, okay, don't laugh, but what can we do to become more of a tourist draw? And we're never going to be that type of place where someone spends a whole week, unless they're visiting grandma. But we are that place where someone can have a hell of a good time for 3 days, 2 nights, or 4 days, 3 nights. And I think we really need to go after that. And like, I would love it if one of the very philanthropic groups in Omaha could work with Hinderdoorly Zoo and add some amusement park component part of Hinderdoorly Zoo. There was talk about U.S. Olympic volleyball going to Gretna. I would love that if that went downtown on Lot B, right across the street from the CHI Center. The SAC Museum out in Ashland, from what I understand, not doing that great. How much better would that be if it was along Abbott Drive by Gallup, really close to Epley and everything going on downtown? I think we have to think big for some of these things that could draw people here. Well, I hope that answered your question. Okay, came up with two things. All right, next, our next contestant.
Hi, my name is Nikki Mahoney, and I, a couple years ago, attended your speaking event here and had asked you some questions about North Omaha.
Okay.
And now I have a couple of follow-up questions.
Okay.
So I noticed that the secondary Spencer Street buildings have come down, and that land that's to the east of the North Freeway is now been cleared, and you can kind of see the nice North Omaha Trail that they are developing in that area. What are the plans? Is that going to be more of what they built to the west?
It's my understanding, more housing.
It's
yeah.
just going to be coming into more housing in that
Yeah.
area?
That's my understanding, if I remember correctly. I think we reported on that a while back, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be more housing. But just
Okay.
nicer, newer. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just curious if it was just going to be more of the same, or if it
Yeah.
was going to be more open space, because it is right there off of that North Omaha Trail that they are progressively working on. My other question, can you refresh my memory as to why they closed by Benson Park? What is that, military, between 72nd, or not military? It is
Military.
military. It's closed until May.
Oh, right now.
Yes.
Okay. When did it close?
Like,
Oh, okay. I was just up there not that long ago. Okay.
not that long ago, but it's been on the news, just hearing about the apartment complex that was affected,
Uh-huh.
and then I believe it's Tiger Tom's, which is a lounge that was affected by
Oh,
it.
yeah,
but
that area. Okay.
I
Yeah.
cannot remember
Again,
why
she
they did
she
it
talks
all.
in my language now. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured the bar. I am a South Omaha girl, though I ask a lot of North Omaha questions. So
It's okay. I don't know about my assumption is it's some sort of infrastructure project, but you've got me curious, and I'll look into that. I would like to say, though, that there's some exciting stuff. One of the most exciting things happening in North Omaha, in my opinion, is the inland port, which is going to be a lot of land around the airport, and we can have 5 of these inland ports in Nebraska. That's going to be one of them. And I already have talked to some people just this week who are working on that, and you're not hearing a lot in the media, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Inland Port Authority has been meeting very actively. They're talking with real estate people. They're making plays on buildings right now in that area. So it'll take a while because you got all the the hyper local politics, the intra North Omaha politics. But good things will happen, and I think you'll see jobs going to that area. You'll see construction, and then even like that the rec center going on in Levi Carter Park on the north side of Carter Lake will have ripple effects that will benefit the whole city, but especially North Omaha. So I think you're seeing some stuff. It's always a challenge in the northeast quadrant, but I think this inland port, though, does hold a lot of promise for job creation and capital investment.
thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for the question. All right, Matt.
Just checking to see, do you think that there's room or a need for a private airport out west? I've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, Millard Airport's a little too small for some of their planes. The guy in North Omaha Airport, he's kind of getting some pushback, a lot of pushback.
With his club. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, you think there's a need for it?
I'm not an aviation expert, but my gut reaction is no. Just because I think there's still plenty of capacity for corporate jets at Epley, and no one in that corporate jet world has told me there's a capacity problem yet. Millard just has the props, and so maybe there would be some benefit, but there was talk, and it was just talk. It was just preliminary talk that's not going to go anywhere, but about putting a private airport out by Gretna, but I just don't see it. because when it comes, so if you have a propeller plane, you got Millard, and a lot of people now are going up to Blair. And then for jets, if you don't want to do Epley, it's my understanding the Council Bluffs Airport is pretty competitive, and I've heard some people using the Council Bluffs Airport. And shoot, Lincoln's not that far away. But so Matt, I would be. Maybe I'll eat these words, and tomorrow there's a big announcement, new airport coming to Ashland. But I'd be shocked if we had any movement on that in the next 5 or 10 years.
And then over there in like the Waterloo Valley, that's supposed to have 2 million visitors, supposed to be second to the zoo if they get those baseball fields done. Do you know any more about that development? There's a lake over there. They're supposed to build 7 hotels. They kind of started on it.
Where in Waterloo? Oh, you're out by Valley?
J.
Yeah. Yeah, there's several of them that are already operational, and there are plans for a lot more. And then there's also supposed to be a pretty big mixed-use real estate development going in that area. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I know this: if they open a nice field, there will be teams jockeying to practice on it, and tournaments that want to play on it. But yeah, but it's my understanding the fields that are there are pretty good. My son's too old to play on it, but I heard they're pretty good. Question?
I do have a question. So when you're heading west on L Street, on the southern side, after you pass 108th, there's an abandoned hotel next to, everyone is laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you know like what's happening with that and like what they plan to do in that space?
Yes, that will be torn down. And City Councilman Don Rowe has been working on that for years. I don't think Councilman Rowe would mind if I said it's probably been the bane of his existence as a representative. He has been working hard on that. And last I heard, and we reported on this on Grow Omaha, funds have been secured. The city of Omaha found some extra money somewhere that they could apply to it, because I think it was like $300,000 or $400,000 to take that eyesore down. It's coming down. So it's not long for this world, thank God.
About a year and a half ago, I had a hotel investor that's a member here that we went and found that buyer. She is out of California, and I believe it was $1.5 million they offered, and they laughed. And he flips hotels, and they would not take it. And they said, no, we got plans for it. We're not going to take that money. And because he owns other hotels around that corner, the Best Western and whatnot, and they want that to go away. Would not take the money for that.
Maybe he should have.
Yeah.
maybe he should have. Now, I had heard that he was going to sue or something like that, but I think he's already tried that, been there, done that. So from what I'm hearing, it's not going to be around too much longer.
Hi, I'm Jerry Schlickburn, and this might be kind of sacrilege. I'm a native Nebraskan, but I kind of love Iowa, especially with all the tax incentives. Is there anything exciting going on in Council Bluffs that you're excited about, that, whatever happens over there will benefit Omaha as well?
Yeah.
Thanks, Clint.
all Nebraska.
You guys don't know what you're missing out, I'm just going to say.
All Nebraska and Iowa jokes aside, we cover Council Bluffs. We cover Potawatomi, Mills, and Harrison counties in Iowa. And we talk about Council Bluffs a lot, actually. So as far as big stuff, the biggest thing that happened in Council Bluffs is done now, and that was the overhaul of the freeway system. It is now one of the nicest urban freeway systems in the entire Midwest. And in fact, I think Omaha owes a debt of gratitude to the Iowa Department of Transportation for doing that, 'cause in a lot of ways they almost overbuilt it. And so thank God they did, because it'll really accommodate growth for a long period of time and plays a huge role for Omaha. So that was one of the real big things. You're still seeing some cool stuff on the riverfront. 2 recreational projects right now. One is north of the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge, and that is going to be an observation tower, rappelling tower, rock climbing. There's going to have like a roll glide ride. And then a little further south, kind of between that River's Edge area and Harris Casino, there's a really cool pier that is under construction, where people will kind of come out to it and come right up to the water. And we're going to either tomorrow or the next day, it's going to be our featured project on growomaha.com. Brad Williams went and took some pictures of it. So that's pretty cool. you're seeing some, you're going to see some industrial type activity east Council Bluffs. So you got a huge data center going in by Iowa Western Community College right now. When I was over there about 3 weeks ago, they were feverishly grading the land, although it was pretty flat to begin with there. And then at the Potawatomi County, Mills County line, just completed not the sexiest project in the world, but a cattle slaughtering and packing plant, which will create 300 jobs and a hell of a lot of tax revenue for Iowa, I guess, but it would also, you know, local taxes for Council Bluffs and Potawatomi County, Mills County. So there's a lot happening. Google continues to expand. They have a 1.5 mile square of land that Google owns east of 29, and my guess is they'll perpetually build on that for another 5 to 10 years. So yeah, there's a lot of activity going on in Council Bluffs.
Thank you.
Yeah, and multifamily projects happening here or there. What you still don't see a lot of over there, though, that perplexes me, is single-family housing developments. You just, I don't know why. You know, 'cause people, the hills are beautiful on the east side, but you don't see much single-family residential subdivision development over there. It might. If it's not open yet, it's very close. Yeah. Gosh, it might even, it's got to be close. Yeah, if it's not open yet. Welcome back, Chad.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to piggyback on something that you said earlier about having Omaha being a tourist destination. The CHI Center is adding 90,000 square feet to the convention center.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's really needed? Are we missing conventions that we normally would get because our convention center is inadequate or too small? And what can we do as fellow business owners, property owners, to kind of make, you know, Omaha more of a destination city? I know that we're never going to be Las Vegas or Nashville or New Orleans, but what can we do individually, do you think, that would help?
Yeah, great questions again. So yeah, 94,000 square feet being added on, and there was supposed to, I was going to put that slide in here actually as part of my prepared remarks for the CHI Center. In fact, I thought I remembered putting it in there. At any rate, yeah, so 94,000 square foot addition on the east side. It's going to be very attractive. A lot of glass. There'll be a lot of glass walls all lit up at night overlooking the riverfront parks. But more importantly, yes, I think we do need it. The CHI Center, hard to believe, because for us old timers, I worked on the campaign committee to get the bond issue passed in 1999 and 2000. We won 63 to 37, by the way. There was some talk in the media recently that people said, "Oh, the CHI Center bond issue barely passed," and I was like pissed. I'd heard like, "No, we worked our ass off and we won 63 to 37. I'll never forget that." So but it's hard to believe that thing opened in 2003, and in that world, that makes the facility, I hate to say this, but old, and it's still very competitive in certain ways. Able to seat up to 19,000 seat in the arena for certain events, still very competitive for a market this size. Trade show space, very, very competitive. We're fine there. We were getting tight on meeting rooms, and when we opened it up in 03, there were plenty, but not so now. Some of those other markets nearby, the Tulsas, the Des Moines, the Kansas Cities, have added a lot more meeting room space, and some other cities our size around the country. So it will really, really help. And then the second part of your question, I think there's a few things that we can do. One, at the grassroots level, talk to people about Omaha becoming the destination. Friends of yours, clients and colleagues of yours, maybe are on associations. Why can't the regional association of all of those groups meet here? And in some cases, national associations do meet here and should meet here more often. Talk to people and have some of these types of conversations with them that we're having tonight. What could this be, or why couldn't we do fill in the blank or XYZ? and just kind of get some people thinking about those sorts of things. And then if you do have friendships and relationships with people who are major decision makers, when you do get a chance to bend their ear, talk to them a little about some of your ideas and see what some of their visions are. Because a lot of times people who have the means to do very special things that could draw tourists or create a higher quality of life here don't think about it unless someone puts the idea in their ear. So I guess that's what I come up with off the cuff.
I think the auditorium feels old when you think about all the name changes it's gone through. If it just kept the name, maybe it wouldn't feel like it. But I remember back in the day when it was CenturyLink.
Yeah, remember it was the Quest Center?
Quest Center, yeah. And depending on how old you are and when you started going there, that's the name it was forever. It never changes.
I just hope the next name is like some of those bowl games, or like what was it, like the Weed Eater Bowl or something like that?
That's all we need.
Yeah. The Pimento Loaf Center or something. We need something. Yeah.
So I've been asking you about this since 2021. Back in 2021, they awarded $1.6 million federal grant to study the 24th Street corridor for the Orbit bus system. Has there been any follow-up that you've heard about this?
Last I heard, still being studied. You're talking about Federal Department of Transportation.
Maybe it should have been 2 or 3 million, I guess, to figure out what track it takes on a straight street. I don't know,
but no, the plan there, as I understand it, and I haven't heard anything probably in close to a year about that, but I know a year ago it was still under consideration. But the vision that a lot of people had is that would be the next Orbit corridor. And so, as I understood it, it would be primarily 24th Street, but when it would get to Q, it would go west and turn around where there's that bus transit station by the Metro campus and Livestock Exchange building and all that. So that would be kind of the southern terminus. Then would go back on Q up to 24th. Then it would go all the way, it would go up 24th to either Cumming or Ames, or one of those streets, and eventually at that point would go west to 30th, continue north to 30th, and there is a transit station at about 30th, a little bit south of Ames.
I mean, I think that's more well needed than the east to west route. Like, I mean, really, that area needs that development. I mean, everything just seems like a no-brainer.
It seems to make sense to me as I compare what I've seen Orbit routes and other markets that were bigger than Omaha or further advanced than Omaha, so it seems to make sense, but I don't know what the holdup is. But I know it would spark some real estate development along that corridor. I mean, even Orbit, on some of the developers of some of those apartment buildings have mentioned Orbit as one of the justifications for building those things along the Dodge corridor between, say 72nd. Well, even like that one with the that incorporated the historic veterinary clinic. A lot of those have kind of said that Orbit was a consideration that was in the favor of doing those projects.
Interesting. Yeah, so there is a lawsuit over the Civic Auditorium site. What the hell is going on? What are they going to win it? I mean, is it Ronco Construction or White Lotus?
White Lotus. There's some similar ownership, but not exactly the same. Yeah. What's that?
They're suing the city.
Yeah.
Because it got taken from them because they're taking too long. Am I wrong?
Well, there was. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble, but as I understand it, there was a contract with the city that the city would have a right to reclaim, have that land revert back to the city if certain milestones weren't met, and those milestones clearly have not been met because it's come and gone quite some time ago. What happens will be an entertaining soap opera for the people of Omaha to enjoy watching. I say that mostly tongue-in-cheek because it's frustrating, but if you think about it though, like if someone said to me, Jeff, are you mad or upset that nothing has happened on the Civic Auditorium site? And my answer is no, because we've got development happening at a breakneck pace all over the place. Can you have it everywhere? Is the market big enough to do what was envisioned there anytime soon? I don't know. I mean, maybe if you can get like a major company to move its headquarters there, but who would that be? So I don't know. It doesn't bother me that it's sitting there just because there's so much else going on, even in the urban area, let alone what's happening in suburban areas. So I guess I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna enjoy watching what happens and be entertained by it. They were getting some heat, and then magically they pushed some dirt around and all that. And I don't want to speak badly about White Lotus because they've done some very nice projects in Omaha, but there is another entity that wants to put something there that would be more of a nonprofit thing, and it wouldn't be a bad use, but the problem is that land is within the streetcar influence zone, and so the city, all of us who live here, we want as many for-profit structures to be constructed within that streetcar influence zone, because then we can pay off those bond issues faster. And remember, the faster we do that and we get some excess, we can then apply it to housing, which is the plan. So if this nonprofit person does something there, that's 3.5 city blocks. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not gonna hold my breath. Anything happens fast. Mixed use, like.
Can you repeat that so online you can hear?
Okay. Yeah. The question is, what does the planning board or the planning department have envisioned for their urban downtown mixed use? And White Lotus, when they released their plans, they had proposed just that. There was an office component, there were a lot of apartments, there were some townhomes, there was like something that looked like a fitness facility, and a lot of retail. But I don't know, the area's kind of down in a hole there. It kind of in the shadow of the buildings and the shadow of the I-480 viaduct, so I don't know, I'm not gonna hold my breath. But who knows, things can move fast and changes can happen.
How about the City View building that's in receivership on about, 17th and
St. Mary's. No, it's probably about, 20 something in St. Mary's? Yeah. Sad situation. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. My hope is that after all of the legal procedures are done, someone can find it lucrative to go in and completely gut it and renovate it. I wouldn't want to lose the building because we already have a housing shortage, and it also some nice height, and we want some height in our downtown area. The more our downtown area looks dense, the easier it is to make it dense because people want to be drawn to that. So my hope is that after all the legal hullabaloo is done, someone can find a profitable way to make that a viable building again and have quality housing for people. We'll see.
Just south of Dodge on 72nd Street, there was that building that was abandoned, and I think it's gone now. Do you know what's going there, or what plans are for there?
The plan as of September was still to put a Rocket Car Wash there, believe it or not. They still control it and own it, and I talked to an employee of that organization, and he told me that. So that is still the plan, and there's some resistance with Public Works because of curb cuts and where turn-ins and turnouts would be located, but it's a tricky site because it's long, skinny, and then who knows what kind of condition that retaining wall is. I was told that it has to be replaced. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's a tricky site, but on the other hand, it's a great site because it's 72nd and freaking Dodge, right? And then to the west of that, Lockwood Development is building a really cool 6-story mixed-use development. They'll have a ton of apartments. We'll have a Williamsburg Pizza on the ground floor, and Jimmy John's will move into there and then tear down the existing building there. These are good questions everyone has, and they're still coming.
I've always been curious, why has the growth never gone north of 680 just in general? It always seems like it just hits 680 and stops and everything keeps going west.
Yeah, there's a very good reason for it. It's the Ponca Hills. The topography north of 680 out to about 72nd Street is extremely hilly, and the hills are very steep, and the cost to run sewers in that kind of topography is pretty intimidating. And then over the years, basically has kind of turned into this acreage area. You know, the 3 acre or a 4 acre, 5 acre hobby farm, or, you know, wealthy people looking for kind of a more secluded place for an estate. And so I don't think you'll ever see development. It's in fact, it's directly in the city plan to not develop that area. So I think what you'll see is when you get when you get just a tad bit west of Cunningham Lake, then you're going to see it eventually go all the way north up to the Blair Airport someday. But that area will kind of be protected for those acreages because of that. And then you don't see anything north on the Iowa side over there because it's floodplain, as we know from 2011 and 2019. My favorite AV guy is back.
Promise, this is my last one.
Oh, I know. I love these questions.
Any updates on North 24th Street development with respect to like Ames and around there? Because that's supposed to be like the new entertainment night, I guess, you know, artsy area. Right?
There's a mixed-use development that Carmen Tapio of North End Teleservices is planning to do, and there hasn't been a lot of progress on it, but it's still my understanding that it is in play, and that would be office for her headquarters, and then there would also be some residential units upstairs. The land has been cleared, but the construction has not been done. And then close to that area, there's a church that just got the go-ahead to build kind of like a community building for like youth services, functions, offices, and all that. So you're seeing some of that stuff there, but that's pretty much it as far as I know. Now, when you get a little further north on 24th Street, you could maybe see some inland port construction activity affecting maybe further north. But that's what I understand is there right now.
I'm just gonna kind of piggyback off the Omaha never being like a place you'd go on a 7-day vacation. I went to college in South Dakota, and one of their big Sioux Falls is the Omaha of South Dakota. And one trip we'd always make is the Grand Falls casino/golf resort. And one thing I think, everybody's starting to realize, especially in western Nebraska, golf's underrated in Nebraska as far as the courses we have. Is that ever anything for like that 2 to 3 day trip that Omaha would think about a golf course/casino resort? It's because I hear about bachelor parties in Omaha, but like they go to the casinos, but what's that connection? Like, you want to have that golf trip and casino. I just think all the small towns in Nebraska, has that ever been a thought of that?
That's a good, I've not heard that one before. I know the number and locations of casinos in Nebraska is strict. And like, as I understand it, like Omaha can only have one, and Lincoln can only have one, and they have theirs now.
Yeah, I don't know all those.
For better or worse. That, so. But I do think there's a lot of room for golf tourism growth, though. Nebraska has some very good topography for it. I take it you're a golf guy?
I can't claim. I try to be.
Oh, okay. I don't even
like
try.
It.
Yeah. I did it once in college. It was so bad, and I said, I'm just going to save money for the rest of my life and not do it. So I didn't. But God, every time I watch Caddyshack, my favorite movie, I kind of want to get out there. But no, I think there's room for golf tourism growth. Now, as I understand it, I'm not a golf guy, but there's some limits with those Sandhills courses. They're delicate. And you can't necessarily have huge throngs, and part of the appeal that they're kind of remote, but you already have companies that their business model is to take people from Epley out to those courses, some by land and other by air. And then like the Lost Rail Golf Course, that private club that opened by Gretna, everyone keeps saying that people love that and all that, so you wonder, maybe there is some room for more golf tourism in Nebraska, and I hope the people that are in that world are thinking that way, because God, tourism is the ultimate clean industry, right? You know, no smokestacks, no pollution. People bring a positive attitude, a good time, all their money, and then they take their problems back home. Yes, sir.
We got Arbor Links in Nebraska City too.
Yeah.
I think that does bring in some people, but follow up to the North Downtown development. So when you got Flywheel and some people that you kind of mentioned that built there, that first half mile's kind of light manufacturing, that kind of makerhood area. Is that where they're talking about? Because after that, you're getting into some pretty heavy hitters in terms of industrial that are making money.
Yeah.
And you got Puritan Manufacturing. You got some pretty big guys, I would imagine, wouldn't want to move, even if that is a good place for that. How much of an area are they talking about taking over?
That's a good question. Right now, it does not. You're talking like Drake Williams Steel and further north, Paxton Verlaine Steel and that huge Magellan tank farm. It wouldn't impact any of that stuff. It's the 25, 26, 27 acres of Union Pacific land. There used to be rows and rows of railroad tracks there because it was classification yards or tracks that served the Omaha shops that existed where Lot B is right now. And so they can put all that stuff there, but it would go right up to that industrial stuff. But there's more land back there than you probably think. When you just go by Abbott coming to and from Epley, you don't even look that close. There's more land than you might think back there. Yeah. All right.
Jeff, before we wrap up, I do have one question.
Okay.
I don't know that there's an answer to this, but I remember as a kid how much fun I would have at the Rosenblatt Stadium when it was over there. I grew up right down the street from there, so it was just an easy little walk.
Yep.
And Zesto's was there, and then CWS and all those houses had crazy parties, and it was a lot of fun on College World Series. But now it's gone, and you have the zoo there, which is the biggest tourist attraction we have in a very large area. But the appeal of the outside of that area around the zoo just looks like crap. From the houses to entering to the zoo, is there any plans to develop any part of that area over there to make it more appealing? I'm completely shocked there's not a hotel right there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, there kind of was a hotel.
Well, there was a hotel,
yeah.
and it's closed. And you can buy for development right now.
Hotel.
I'm sure.
It's got boards on the window now.
But that section right there, King Kong, that whole area. I mean, it is.
I know it well. We have our family has a house in there where my aunt lives. It was Grandpa's house. We used to park in true South Omaha fashion. We parked on his lawn to go to the College World Series and walked up the B Street hill from hell. Yeah, I miss those days, Zesto and all that. But the political difficulty of replacing homes is, as it should be, tough. And so I think I don't think you would see anything west of 13th Street anytime soon. But the zoo has, from time to time, bought houses to that neighborhood immediately south of it. So as they get more of a foothold there, who knows what could happen. I do think, I am surprised there's not a little more of a business presence that caters to tourists northwest of 13th and I-80. That is where that hotel is sitting there, and hopefully some legitimate hotel operator will turn that into a legitimate hotel. But there's plenty of room for some other pad sites there. Like you have Scooters, you have Jimmy John's, you have McDonald's, you have some sort of gas station convenience store. There's room for 3 or 4 more of those things there. And with it being the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Nebraska, why aren't there more? It beats me. I will say, though, there was something very funny on Omaha Scanner 2 weeks ago. Someone apparently called 911 and said there was a baboon or a gorilla loose from the zoo, swear to God, and they said it was gray colored, and they were hysterical, and they called 911, and then they called back a little bit later and go, apparently it was a King Kong statue.
Well, you remember that Halloween, there was that lady that actually snuck into the tiger cage to pet the tiger and got her fingers bitten off. Yeah,
that didn't end well. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully with that development that's going to happen in Bellevue, that's a straight shot.
Sure. Yeah.
Going up and down 13th to go to the new water park. So hopefully there's some thought there.
Yeah, and that McDonald's there is like so busy. I happen to be addicted to McDonald's iced tea. So I know I can give you like the top 20 McDonald's based on tea quality 1 through 20. Not one of them, but if you're ever desperate and you get a tea at that one, it's always packed.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. All right, do we do it? Did we get them all?
Wow.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Big round of applause for Jeff Beals, please, guys. Jeff's got some content now for his radio show. Jeff, you can just shout us out, just say, hey, check out my video on Omaha RIA. We appreciate that. But with that, a couple conclusions. We're at the end here, my couple announcements. We're going to give a book away. If you go to the JM banner or if you raise your hand, Rob will come to you and grab a card. And we'll give you have a pick from one of the 2 books that we're going to give away back there here in a few minutes. Also is Marty called me, and they had a winner for the bottle of whiskey, Samantha Neiman. Samantha Neiman, are you here still? There you go. That bottle of whiskey's all yours right there. Bring some stuff to give away next time, Jeff. Jeez. Also, again, thank you to our sponsors, Realty One Group Sterling and Marty McGuire at Blackstone Insurance. We appreciate you guys. You guys can check out all of our upcoming events on omaharia.com. And before we go, and while Rob's doing this, do you guys have anything you want to shout out and might give a property you want to sell? You got a listing that's a good investment, or something you're looking for in your business, or you are a sponsor and you want to give your business a shout out on the mic? This is your chance. Try to keep it like 10 or 15 seconds. Yeah, there we go.
Hey guys, Al Nelson, Trustworthy Title and Escrow. Been a long-time sponsor of Omaha RIA here, and still here to support you. Trustworthy Title is looking a little bit different. My wife had a stroke here a couple months ago.
How's she doing?
She's doing great.
Good.
She's kicking my ass. She's raising a cane and beating me, and
So nothing's changed.
so nothing has nothing has changed. No, absolutely. So we've got some different personnel on board to help us out, so continuity, and we're here for you. Thanks, gang.
Yep, sending prayers, sir.
Hi everyone, I'm new. I'm still a guest. I'm trying to convince my employer, Modern Hive Interior Design, to become a member, of course. So definitely set up one-on-ones with me. And then also, we're having an open house February 16th. We've been around for 12 years, but we don't have as much exposure. So we'd love for you guys to come out, especially if there's a lot of RIA people that show up, then she'll be like, okay, you definitely need to join this group. So come support it out. We're luxury interior design, 1 million plus houses. We're right now having a brand new realtor program for pre-closing gifts as well. And then we have commercial award-winning interior designs as well. So yeah, Caitlin with Modern Hive. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey everybody, Axel Foley with Undercover Kitchen. Just reminding you, times are tough right now, and a reface on your kitchen is way more affordable than new cabinets. So we also have countertop connections. I know most of you do, but we have some good ones as well. So refaces are the way to go. If you have a kitchen that's, the boxes are good and you can just do doors, that's what we specialize in. You can use your own painter. I have painters. Using your own is gonna save you a bunch of money. But it's info@undercoverkitchen.com. Axel, just give me a holler, and we do free estimates and everything. So we'll be at the 16th. We're one of the sponsors.
Yep.
For the big event on the 16th.
Are you gonna have the big truck here too?
Yeah, I'll bring the trailer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's save you a spot, and then I do have a project for you we need to talk about also this year. Actually, you had no applause. Everybody else got an applause, but not you. Yeah.
My name is Charlie Easley. I'm with Unico Group. I'm a commercial risk advisor and kind of new to the Omaha area and industry in general. So just trying to get better connected in Omaha and learn about everybody's business and the commercial property market to see if there's anything that we can do to help. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Chad Carr, and thanks again for Jeff Beals. What a wonderful presentation. In addition to being a commercial property owner, I own a company called Car Productions, and we specialize in helping clients book live music and live entertainment. So if you want to do something on, a local basis, a regional basis, or you want to bring in a national act, come see me or find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Chad Carr with Car Productions. Thanks.
Awesome. That's fun. Crack that whiskey right there and start pouring it.
I have a proposal. So my name is Samantha Neiman. I work at Hillside Solutions. We're an eco-friendly waste management company. So I set up dumpsters and cart services for recycling, composting, energy bag, glass, all of the things. So apartment complexes or commercial businesses. I am also sober. So if you would like a little bit of this whiskey in exchange for a lead, find me afterwards.
Lead for a lead. That's fun. Okay, Rob, you got, first off, Rob wanted me to make an announcement too. He flies people all around the country back and forth. He's looking for a local rep for JM Real Estate Capital to man the booths here. Paying commission, you got to talk to him. However, he works it out, but talk to Rob over there at the happy hour event. But Rob, you got some cards to pull? Yeah. Dennis, will you bring a mic over there? Thanks, buddy.
Check.
I don't want to seem partial, right? Or partial. Right. It is Mr. Nebraska, NR Nebraska, Sonia Lawrence.
Sonia, there we
Come
go.
on down.
Okay, and book number 2 is going to?
Book number 2. Can't go to Sonia.
Sonia's like, I put 4 cards in there. I'm going to get this next one. Michael Freed is sticking his hand in the bucket. And out comes a card. And the winner is... I know, it usually plays Jeopardy music.
Mickey Mahoney?
Mickey Mahoney.
Mickey Mahoney, come on down.
He pulled his own girlfriend's card. That's perfect. We like it. We like it. Okay, guys, we appreciate you guys.
Enjoy. Thank you.
We hope you guys take care of your staff. If you get a chance, give us a review on Google or Better Business Bureau. Give us a 5-star. I appreciate that. Or on our podcast. That's really where we shine, and it makes us stand out to everybody. We have lots of events coming up. I hope you guys check it out. Again, the Mastery event on the 16th. Love to have you there. If you could, clear this around about 5 to 10 minutes. We have a party going on right down the hallway. That way our group and staff and DB Video can get cleaned up and put away. We appreciate you guys. Big round of applause. Thank you, Jeff Beals, and good night.